Global TV News Express. Bandits attack Sokoto communities, kill 7. In business, Pan Niger Delta Development Forum calls for review of Petroleum Industry Act, decries neglecting host communities. On the foreign scene, ECOWAS deploys standby force to Benin Republic following attempted military coup. And in sport, National Sports Commission steps up 2027 African School Games preparations. Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Express on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Mukhtar Kasim. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and on StarTimes channel 276. And now, the news and details. Bandits have attacked 2 communities in Sabon Birni and Isa local government areas of Sokoto State in the early hours of today. Member representing Isa constituency in the State House of Assembly, Habibu Mudachi, confirmed the attacks, stating that the assault resulted in the death of 7 individuals and abduction of several others. The gunmen reportedly invaded the communities around 1:30 a.m., opening fire indiscriminately, then moving to Shala village in Isa local government area, where they killed 2 people and abducted an unspecified number of women. Away from that, President Bola Tinubu has commended the Nigerian Armed Forces for their swift intervention in Benin Republic following an attempted military coup in the neighboring country. A statement signed by the President's Special Advisor on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, said the government of Benin Republic formally requested Nigeria's military assistance in 2 separate communications after coup plotters led by Colonel Pascal Tigri announced the suspension of democratic institutions. Tinubu's reaction came after loyalist forces in Benin Republic, supported by Nigerian troops and air assets, dislodged soldiers who seized the country's national television station and claimed to have toppled President Patrice Talon. The federal government says it has secured the release of 100 school children abducted from St. Mary's Private Catholic Primary and Secondary School, Papuri, in Akwara local government area of Niger State. The development comes 2 weeks after bandits attacked the school, abducting 315 people, comprising 303 students and 12 teachers. Now, a former presidential candidate of the New Nigeria People's Party, Rabiu Kwankwaso, has expressed deep concern over the worsening security situation in the country, warning that the recent developments pose serious threat to national unity and stability. In a post on his official X handle, the former defense minister said tackling the escalating insecurity remains the primary responsibility of the federal government, working alongside states and local government as well as other key stakeholders. Kwankwaso noted that the federal government appears overwhelmed by the scale and complexity of the challenges. Moving to Borno State, where Governor Babagana Zulum says the state and its people will continue to support the military relentless fight against Boko Haram, an Islamic State West African province ISWAP terrorists in the northeast. Speaking at a frontline military base at Dombwa of Sambisa Forest, the governor sympathized with the officers and soldiers by acknowledging their immense sacrifice and hard work daily in protecting lives and properties in the state. Zulum commended the Nigerian Armed Forces for their enormous effort and supreme sacrifice in the ongoing counter-terrorism operation to secure Borno State and protect civilians from Boko Haram and ISWAP incident threats. Now to the education sector, where the Joint Admission and Matriculation Board, JAMB, has released guidelines ahead of the registration for the 2026 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination, UTME. In a post on its official X handle, the board stated that candidates should ensure their personal details, including national identity number (NIN), email, and A-level results are accurate before generating a profile code. The board urged candidates to send their 11-digit NIN to 55019 or 66019 to generate profile, adding that once a profile code is generated, it cannot be changed, and biodata is automatically retrieved from the National Identity Management Commission. Nigeria marks a major milestone in dermatological medicine as Nigerian Skincare Center unveiled two state-of-the-art laser machines, one designed for acne vulgaris treatment and the other dedicated to advanced scar remodeling, the first of their kind in Nigeria and across Africa. Samuel Odi reports for Global Television News.
The breakthrough launch signals a new era of high-precision, non-visible skin care solutions for millions battling with persistent skin conditions. MD and Chief Executive Officer of Niger Skin Limited, Dr. Bashir Malam, said the arrival of the machine demonstrates the organization's commitment to setting new medical standards. He noted that the technology will greatly enhance dermatological care, reduce treatment time, and offer safer alternatives for patients who have long struggled with chronic scarring and pigmentation challenges.
Are willing and really ready to help us, but of course there are limitations.
Taking the audience through the capacity of the equipment, Alex Bondo, the inventor of the technology, described the machine as a fusion of cutting-edge engineering and medical science. He explained that the laser for pimples targets inflammation at vascular levels, while the scar treatment laser restructures damaged tissue with extraordinary precision.
And it was the very first PICO in Sub-Saharan Africa. And now, tonight, thanks to Dr. D, we are going to launch the Accure. The name of the machine is the Accure. It's the very first technology worldwide able to treat acne.
On the underlying cause of pimples, Professor Ono Abel provided insight into why Ecker's vascular remains one of the most common yet misunderstood skincare condition.
Pimples is one of the commonest complaints we get in the various skin clinics all over. Most of them are mild. However, no matter how mild they are, usually there's some accompanying psychosocial problems that make it a very important thing, especially among young people.
With the commissioning of these innovative machines, Nigeria takes a decisive step into the future of dermatology, improving access, raising clinical standards, and placing the country on the map as leaders of advanced skincare technology in Africa. Samuel Odi for Global Television News.
Now, the 60th anniversary of the Nigerian Navy Officers' Wives Association, NOWA, has ended with a carol night celebrating its annual Christmas carol service themed Glory to the God in the Highest. Samuel Odi reports.
The colorful event drew families and senior naval officers, invited dignitaries and guests to an evening of gratitude, reflection, and hope for the nation. The atmosphere at the carol service was filled with warmth as NOWA members from across the country converged to honor the birth of Christ. Choirs and scriptural readers took turns leading the congregation in timeless Christmas melodies. Highlighting the spiritual significance of the season, the Vice President of NOWA, Fadake Oludude, who represented the National President of NOWA, Aisha Idi Abbas, reaffirmed the association's commitment to fostering unity, compassion, and family value within naval community. She emphasized that Christmas remains a reminder of God's love and a call to service, peace, and generosity.
The message of Christmas is urgently needed in today's world, a world wrestling with greed, hatred, vengeance, and hypocrisy. Now more than ever, we are called to be beacons of love and bearers of light.
The special guest of honor, Teresa Ibaz, encouraged naval officers' wives to stay in unity and love as they marked their 60th anniversary. The event also featured special musical radiation and presentation from different NOWA formations across the country. The 2025 NOWA Christmas Carol celebration ended on a high note with a collective chorus of Silent Nights, symbolizing peace, hope, and renewed faith as families look forward to a prosperous new year. Officials say NOWA will continue to champion community support initiative across naval formations as the festive season progresses. Samuel Odi for Global Television News.
And now to some weather news, where the Nigerian Meteorological Agency NIMET has issued a 3-day weather outlook forecasting dust haze across northern and central Nigeria and isolated thunderstorms in the south from Monday, December 8 to Wednesday, December 10, 2025. The forecast was included in the Weather Outlook Bulletin released by NIMET Central Forecast Office. The outlook noted that visibility in several northern states could drop to between 2 kilometers and 5 kilometers due to suspended dust particles. You're watching the live broadcast of News Express. When News Express returns, Economic Community of West African States deploys standby force to Benin Republic following attempted military coup. Details coming shortly, plus business and sports stories on the other side of this break. Please stay with us. You're welcome back from that break, and now to business news, where the Dangote Petroleum Refinery has topped the monthly salaries of the engineers sacked in September during its face-off with the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, PENGASSN. In a bid to address this, PENGASSN said it is engaging the Dangote Group to resolve the matter amicably instead of resorting to another industrial action. The salaries were halted following the refusal of many of the engineers to accept their redeployment to Zamfara, Borno, Benue, and Sokoto states, among others. Still in business, the Pan-Nigeria Delta Forum (PANDEF) has called for an urgent review of the Petroleum Industry Act, alleging that its current implementation has several disadvantages to oil-producing communities in the Niger Delta. Disclosing this in a statement, the Forum National Spokesman and Publicity Secretary Dr. Obivuyi Ominimini said certain provisions of the PIA work against the interest of host communities. He noted that while Section 257 of the Act allows funds meant for host communities to be deducted in the event of vandalism of oil facilities, Section 236 mandates oil companies to pay daily penalties of $2,500 to the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission when they fail to comply with the law. The Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council has released fresh assessment exposing several federal ministries, departments, and agencies, MDAs, as well as some states for underperforming in Nigeria's ease of doing business reforms. The Council, in its 2025 report, highlighted the most comprehensive assessment since the Act came into effect, reviewing 69 MDAs between January and October 2025. The evaluation focused on transparency, efficiency, responsiveness, service level agreement compliance, and digital readiness. And now to news making rounds on the foreign scene. The Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, has ordered the immediate deployment of its standby force to the Republic of Benin following an attempted military takeover targeting President Patrice Talon. The directive was issued in a statement released by the ECOWAS Commission, warning that it would take all necessary measures to prevent a breakdown of law and order and defend constitutional governance in the country. Away from Africa to Europe, where the Kremlin has praised a new national security strategy adopted by United States President Donald Trump, saying it would align closely with Russia's view of global affairs. Kremlin's spokesman Dmitry Peskov said the changes correspond in many ways to the vision of Russia. The United States document published last week warns that Europe faces what it calls civilization erasure, identifies ending the war in Ukraine as a core United States interest, and signals a shift towards restoring what Washington describes as strategic stability with Moscow. Still on the international scene, the United Nations has lodged its 2026 appeal for aid by asking for just half the amount it says it needs, despite humanitarian needs globally being at an all-time high. The international institution appealed for the $23 billion while acknowledging that due to a plunge in donor funding, the figure would shut out tens of millions of people in urgent need of help. The United Nations had originally sought $47 billion United States dollars for 2025, but later revisited the figure as aid cut by the new administration in the United States and followed by other major Western donors, including Germany, became clear. South African authorities have withdrawn a 90-day visa exemption for Palestinians, saying the recent arrival of a charter flight with 153 people on board was part of a campaign of forced migration. Minister of Home Affairs Dr. Leon Sheba said the flight and another one in October had been organized by the Israeli actors linked to efforts to relocate residents of the Gaza Strip. The minister added that it was an abuse of the visa system and of passengers themselves, as organizers were apparently willing to leave the people destitute on arrival in South Africa. And now to the exciting world of sport, where preparations for the second edition of the African School Games in Abuja 2027 have gained momentum following a strategic meeting between the local organizing committee and top officials of the National Sports Commission. The committee's chairman, Larry Abari, was received by the National Sports Commission chairman, Shehu Diko, and Director General Bukola Olokbade, who reaffirmed the Commission's commitment to delivering a world-class event. The discussion centered on key milestones, infrastructural readiness, and collaborative frameworks as Nigeria gears up to host the continent-wide youth sporting event. Wikitourists have acknowledged a challenging period following the home draw against Ikorodu City. The Bauchi Elephants were held to a goalless draw by Ikorodu City in a matchday 16 fixture at the Abubakar Tafawa Balewa Stadium in Bauchi State. The draw saw Wikitourists fourth at their home ground this season. Now, as Global TV News Express comes to an end, here is a recap of our top stories. On Global TV News Express, we brought to you that bandits have attacked two communities in Sabon Birni and Isa local government areas of Sokoto State in the early hours of today. In business, the Pan-Niger Delta Forum PANDEV has called for an urgent review of the Petroleum Industry Act, alleging that the current implementation has several disadvantages for oil-producing states in the Niger Delta. And from the foreign scene, we brought to you that the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, has ordered the immediate deployment of standby force to the Republic of Benin following an attempted military takeover targeting President Patrice Talon. And in sports, preparations for the second edition of the African School Games in Abuja 2027 have gained momentum following a strategic meeting between the local organizing committee and top officials of the Nigerian Sports Commission. That's it on News Express. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and on StarTimes channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen using our Global TV NG. I am Mukhtar Kasim, saying a very big thank you for watching.